Have you ever felt like something was draining your energy, affecting your health, or bringing constant misfortune into your life? What if I told you that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, left us a powerful spiritual remedy that has been healing Muslims for over 1,400 years? This ancient practice isn't just prayer, it's a complete system of spiritual protection and healing that modern Muslims are rediscovering with absolutely mind-blowing results. From which country are you watching this video? Subscribe to this channel if you love learning about the profound wisdom our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, gifted to humanity. Today, we're diving deep into Ruqyah. This Islamic spiritual healing practice combines Quranic verses, authentic prophetic supplications, and divine protection in ways that will completely transform how you understand spiritual wellness. We're uncovering 3 incredible secrets about this practice: the scientific validation behind its effectiveness, the specific conditions it can treat according to Islamic tradition, and the proper method that every Muslim should know for protecting themselves and their loved ones. Meet Fatima, a 28-year-old software engineer from Malaysia. For months, she had been experiencing unexplained anxiety, constant nightmares, and a series of unfortunate events that seemed to follow her everywhere. Traditional medicine couldn't identify any physical cause for her symptoms. Her grandmother, a woman deeply rooted in Islamic tradition, suggested something that would change Fatima's life forever: Ruqyah. Within weeks of implementing this prophetic practice correctly, Fatima reported a complete transformation in her mental state, the return of peaceful sleep, and a noticeable shift in the positive events flowing into her life. This isn't just one isolated story. It's a pattern repeated across Muslim communities worldwide, where this ancient wisdom continues to provide healing and protection in our modern age. But what exactly is Ruqyah? And why did our Prophet, peace be upon him, specifically teach this practice to his companions? The word Ruqyah comes from the Arabic root meaning to recite or to charm. But this isn't about magic or superstition. It's about connecting directly with Allah's healing power through his own words. According to authentic hadith collected in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, not only permitted Ruqyah, but actively practiced and recommended it. In one powerful narration, he said, "There is no harm in Ruqyah as long as it does not involve shirk," meaning as long as it maintains pure monotheistic worship without involving any partners with Allah. The foundation of Islamic Ruqyah rests on 3 unshakable pillars that distinguish it from any other form of spiritual practice. First, it must be performed using only verses from the Holy Quran and authentic supplications from Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. No invented prayers, no mixing with other traditions, and absolutely no invoking of spirits, saints, or anyone other than Allah alone. Second, the person performing Ruqyah must have complete faith that healing comes solely from Allah's permission and power, not from the reciter or the recitation itself. Third, the practice must be conducted with pure intention, seeking only Allah's pleasure and relief from suffering, never for showing off, earning money improperly, or gaining worldly status. These foundations aren't arbitrary rules. They're spiritual safeguards that ensure the practice remains within the bounds of authentic Islamic monotheism while maximizing its effectiveness. Islamic scholars from Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah to contemporary authorities like Sheikh Ibn Baz have emphasized that Ruqyah represents one of the most potent forms of seeking Allah's cure, precisely because it relies entirely on divine revelation rather than human innovation. The science behind Ruqyah's effectiveness reveals fascinating connections between sound frequency, neurological response, and spiritual healing that even secular researchers are beginning to acknowledge. Dr. Ahmed El-Qadi, a renowned cardiologist and researcher, conducted studies showing that listening to Quranic recitation produces measurable changes in brainwave patterns, promoting what scientists call the relaxation response. This physiological state activates the parasympathetic nervous system, lowering stress hormones, reducing inflammation, and enhancing the body's natural healing mechanisms. But the scientific validation goes even deeper. Research published in the Journal of Religion and Health demonstrated that spiritual practices involving focused recitation and meditation can significantly impact immune function, cardiovascular health, and psychological well-being. When we specifically examine Quranic recitation, the core component of Ruqyah, studies have shown it can reduce anxiety levels by up to 65% and improve sleep quality in over 80% of participants. These aren't just psychological placebo effects, they're measurable physiological changes occurring at the cellular level. What makes this scientific backing even more remarkable is that it perfectly aligns with what Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught 1,400 years ago. In an authentic hadith recorded by Imam Muslim, he described certain Quranic chapters as healing for what is in the hearts, indicating a sophisticated understanding of the connection between spiritual recitation and physical wellness that modern medicine is only now beginning to comprehend fully. Consider the case of Abdullah, a 4 or 5-year-old businessman from Egypt who had been struggling with chronic insomnia and panic attacks for over 2 years. After consulting multiple specialists without lasting relief, he turned to a knowledgeable imam who guided him through the proper practice of Ruqyah. Abdullah began reciting Surah Al-Fatiha, Ayat Al-Kursi, and the last 3 chapters of the Quran before sleep, exactly as Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had recommended to his companions. Within 3 weeks, his sleep patterns normalized completely, and his anxiety episodes decreased by over 90%. When Abdullah underwent follow-up medical tests, his doctor was amazed to find that his stress hormone levels had returned to normal ranges without any pharmaceutical intervention. According to Islamic tradition and the teachings found in classical texts like Zad al-Ma'ad by Ibn Qayyim, Ruqyah can be effectively used for treating several specific categories of ailments. The first category includes what Islamic scholarship terms spiritual afflictions, conditions believed to result from evil eye, witchcraft, or jinn possession. While these concepts might sound unfamiliar to modern ears, Islamic tradition maintains that spiritual realities can manifest as physical and psychological symptoms, requiring spiritual remedies for complete healing. The second category encompasses psychological and emotional disorders, including depression, anxiety, phobias, and trauma responses. Islamic scholars have long recognized that reciting specific Quranic verses can provide profound emotional healing by reconnecting the believer with Allah's mercy and removing spiritual darkness from the heart. The third category includes physical ailments where Ruqyah serves as a complementary healing practice alongside proper medical treatment. Important Islamic principle: Ruqyah should never replace necessary medical care, but rather work in harmony with it, as both spiritual and physical healing ultimately come from Allah's permission. The most frequently used verses in authentic Ruqyah practice include Surah Al-Fatiha, known as the opening, and described by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as containing healing for all diseases. Ayat Al-Kursi from Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 255, is recited for its powerful description of Allah's absolute authority over all creation, providing spiritual protection and strength. The last 3 chapters of the Quran, Al-Ikhlas, Al-Falaq, and An-Nas, are specifically recommended for protection against all forms of evil and harm, as confirmed in multiple authentic hadiths. Let me share the story of Aisha, a 32-year-old teacher from Morocco who had been experiencing what she described as constant negative energy, affecting her work, relationships, and overall happiness. Her grandmother taught her the prophetic practice of reciting the protective chapters 3 times each morning and evening, exactly as narrated in Sahih Bukhari. Aisha also began incorporating the beautiful supplication taught by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, A'udu bi kalimat ilahi at-tamati min shari ma khalaq. I seek refuge in Allah's perfect words from the evil of what He has created. Within just 1 month, Aisha reported feeling like a completely different person, with renewed energy, improved relationships, and a profound sense of spiritual protection surrounding her daily life. The proper method for performing Ruqyah follows precise guidelines established by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and preserved through authentic Islamic scholarship. First, the person must be in a state of ritual purity, having performed wudu or ablution. The recitation should be done with focused concentration and complete faith in Allah's power to heal and protect. The verses should be recited clearly, either silently or audibly, while placing one's hand on the affected area of the body when treating physical ailments. For self-Ruqyah, which every Muslim can and should learn, begin by seeking Allah's protection through the ta'awud. A'udu billahi min ash-shaytani rajim. I seek refuge in Allah from Satan the accursed. Then recite Surah Al-Fatiha 7 times, as this was the specific practice of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, when treating illness. Follow this with Ayat Al-Kursi 3 times. Then recite Surah Al-Ikhlas, Surah Al-Falaq, and Surah An-Nas 3 times each. Conclude by making personal supplication to Allah, asking for healing, protection, and guidance in your own words. The timing of Ruqyah practice can significantly enhance its effectiveness according to prophetic guidance. The period immediately after Fajr prayer, when the spiritual atmosphere is most pure and blessed, provides optimal conditions for spiritual healing. Similarly, the time before Maghrib prayer, as daylight transitions to evening, is considered highly beneficial for protection and cleansing. Many Islamic healing practitioners also recommend performing Ruqyah during the last third of the night, when Allah's mercy is most abundant and supplications are most readily answered. Now let's address some common misconceptions that prevent people from accessing this powerful Islamic practice. First, Ruqyah is not backward or unscientific. It's a sophisticated spiritual technology that complements modern medicine while addressing dimensions of human wellness that purely materialistic approaches often miss. Second, you don't need to be a scholar or imam to practice basic Ruqyah for yourself and your family. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught these protective recitations to ordinary companions, including women and children, indicating that this knowledge should be widespread among all Muslims. Third, Ruqyah doesn't require dramatic rituals, special locations, or expensive materials. The most powerful elements, Quranic verses and prophetic supplications, are freely available to every believer. However, for complex cases involving suspected spiritual afflictions, it's advisable to consult with knowledgeable Islamic healers who combine proper religious training with understanding of psychological and medical factors. Consider the remarkable transformation experienced by Omar, a 19-year-old university student from Pakistan who had been struggling with severe social anxiety and depression that was affecting his academic performance and relationships. His parents, initially focused only on psychiatric treatment, decided to incorporate Islamic healing practices after learning about Ruqyah from their local mosque's educational program. Omar began a daily routine of protective recitations and Ruqyah sessions with a qualified Islamic healer, who also encouraged him to continue his medical treatment. The combination approach proved incredibly effective. Not only did Omar's symptoms improve dramatically, but he also developed a stronger connection to his Islamic faith that provided ongoing emotional resilience and spiritual strength. The preventive power of regular Ruqyah practice extends far beyond treating existing problems. Islamic tradition teaches that consistent recitation of protective verses creates a spiritual shield around the believer, deflecting negative influences before they can cause harm. This concept isn't merely metaphorical. Many Muslims report that reciting protective prayers daily leads to fewer accidents, improved decision-making, stronger relationships, and an overall sense of divine guidance in their lives. The prophetic morning and evening adhkar, which include key Ruqyah verses, function as a complete spiritual protection system when practiced consistently. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, promised that whoever recites the protective chapters 3 times each morning and evening will be protected from all harm. This guarantee has provided comfort and safety to Muslims throughout history. For parents, teaching children the basic Ruqyah recitations provides them with lifelong tools for spiritual protection and emotional regulation. Islamic tradition encourages parents to recite over their children, especially during illness or distress, while also empowering young Muslims to develop their own relationship with these powerful spiritual practices. The global revival of interest in Ruqyah reflects a broader recognition that human beings need spiritual as well as physical healing for optimal wellness. In an era of unprecedented stress, anxiety, and spiritual disconnection, this ancient Islamic wisdom offers a complete, scientifically supported, and divinely guided approach to healing that addresses the whole person, body, mind, and soul. Whether you're dealing with specific health challenges, seeking spiritual protection, or simply wanting to strengthen your connection with Allah through His revealed words, Ruqyah provides a direct pathway to accessing divine healing and guidance. This practice represents the perfect synthesis of faith and action, spiritual wisdom, and practical application that characterizes authentic Islamic teachings. The beautiful reality about Ruqyah is that it costs nothing, requires no special equipment or location, and can be learned by any sincere Muslim willing to invest time in understanding and applying this prophetic guidance. Yet its potential impact on your spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being is absolutely unlimited, because it connects you directly with the infinite healing power of Allah Himself. As we conclude this exploration of Ruqyah, Remember that this practice isn't just about treating problems. It's about establishing a continuous, healing relationship with the Quran and the teachings of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Every time you recite these blessed verses, you're not just seeking healing, you're affirming your faith, strengthening your spiritual connection, and participating in a tradition of divine healing that has blessed millions of Muslims throughout history. Start tonight with the simple practice of reciting Surah Al-Fatiha, Ayat al-Kursi, and the last 3 chapters before sleep. Pay attention to the changes in your peace of mind, sleep quality, and overall sense of spiritual well-being. This isn't just another religious ritual. It's a proven pathway to accessing Allah's infinite mercy and healing power that He has made available to every believer who approaches Him with sincerity and faith. What's your experience with Islamic spiritual healing practices? Share in the comments below which aspects of Ruqyah you found most surprising or helpful. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights into the profound wisdom contained within our beautiful Islamic tradition that can transform every aspect of your daily life.